Well, howdy all you fine people out there in YouTube land. This is a Texas special and I'm here in Rosenberg. Finally. I'm going to do some birthday rail fanning. Early birthday rail fanning. And as you can see behind me, got the lovely sign for the Rosenberg Railroad Museum. Of course, there's no way I'm coming to Rosenberg to do some rail fanning without checking out this museum. So, already caught a KCS. Got some footage as we were pulling into Rosenberg of a stack train going over Texas 90 and a parked rock train, and we'll see what else we get. Alright, hope y'all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for y'all. Hope y'all find it entertaining. Thank you for watching. And remember, happy rail fanning, y'all. Texas Special out. Here you can see the difference between standard gauge and O gauge. These big ones up front, that's standard gauge. Rails are 2 1/4 inch apart, and that little itty bitty one there, that's O gauge. Lionel, Ives, and all the others quit making standard gauge in the late 20s. I want to say 1929. Don't quote me on that. And as you know, they're still making O gauge today.
It's coming along. Did they explain how the layout of it works?
I believe your esteemed young Chris told me that it was supposed to be a representation of Rosenberg in the 1950s.
Right.
That it's maintained and ran by the Houston area G-Scalers.
Yep. This is supposed to be 98 down here on the bottom. That's 36 over there, and out the other way is 98 again. And the bridge is sort of like the bridge down on the river. The tower over there is our tower 17.
And I'm assuming that right there is going to be downtown Rosenberg?
In town. And this concrete canal is the Brazos River, complete with fish.
And of course, right there in plain view, BNSF Galveston sub and the Glidden.
Oh yes. And when they got through with it, it came down here. It needs some help, but it gets the point across.
This is the old wigwag at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum. And cool thing about it, it still works. I'm in the lower level of Tower 17 here at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum, and I'm looking at all kinds of interesting historical artifacts. Here you can see the rods that they would use to send out the train orders to the passing trains. Old train order. Mail loops. Pictures. Gotta have the pictures. And actually there's one of demonstrating how that train order thing is handed up. Of course, the ever popular semaphore signal. You never get enough of the semaphore. Never, ever, ever. Is it ever possible? And just various pictures of Tower 17 in its glory days. That is actually a very cool picture. And now it is mine. All kind of interesting stuff. Old Puseys, old torpedoes. Those are fun. and what they use now. The modern equivalency of a tower. Some dispatchers sitting 1,600 miles away in an automated electronic center with a big old screen, basically just a big old ATCS readout on steroids. You can see here another diagram of the Rosenberg Junction, and pictures just throughout the years. And I'm assuming that right there is the famous lady in the story?
That's her.
Southern Pacific's attempts at modernization within Tower 17 right there.
No, that's when we moved it.
And when the Rosenberg Museum moved Tower 17 from its original location to where it sits today. I'm here in ex-Southern Pacific Tower number 17 at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum, and I gotta tell y'all, all you fine people out there in YouTube land, I'm like a kid in a candy store who's just been given like a $5,000 spending limit. So this is awesome. I'm in hog heaven, don't even come close to describing it. Old potbelly stove. See here the track diagram, the control panel, bulletin board of some sort, I'm assuming.
And cheat sheet.
There's the money maker. All the little levers and relays and whatnot that actually threw the switches that controlled the junction here in Rosenberg, Texas. Now the way these worked, you grab it, squeeze that little lever there, shove it in, pull it out. You can see there, still has a radio. Well, actually that's a scanner, but you get the premise. And there's the old radio right there with the headset. Of course, the requisite coffee mug for the ever vigilant operator, and of course a typewriter where you type up train orders. You have an old timetable there, all of the various forms and whatnot. The Rosenberg Railroad Museum has done an outstanding job of preserving the historical ambiance, I guess you could say, of this historic treasure in railroading history. They did, however, go and add two modern conveniences that did not exist in this tower's heyday. The first of which, and I personally am very thankful for it, is that right there. Being in South Texas, let's be honest folks, it is hot as hell. So air conditioning is always good. And the other nice little touch of modernism, ATCS. Now I know the gentleman that maintains this, and you know, he's quite frequently pulling his hair out over it, but he does it, and I give him stuff for it, so he has no right to complain. Something I did forget to mention, a very, very cool track diagram. In fact, that is actually picture worthy. I don't take a lot of pictures, but that is definitely picture worthy. Bam. And no clue what that is, but that's pretty cool too.
And they've all known about this. And they've all had it. They said that a woman worked up here years ago. And her picture's downstairs. When she was up here tonight, and some gentleman from the bar across the street came over to visit her. And she kept telling him to go away, and he wouldn't do it. So she finally wound up shooting him dead. So the Southern Pacific says she was right. She's in her rights. But it wasn't good publicity, so they took her gun away and gave her a bat.
Gotta have a bat. We got a vagrant at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum. We got a vagrant. Look at him. Look at him. Apparently this is Choo Choo the chicken.
Yep.
This right here is the Quebec. This is an old private car here at the Rosenberg Railroad Museum, and as you can see, it's in pretty good condition. And enough of the outside, let's take a look at the inside. When this car was built in 1879, originally it was wood. For whatever reason, they decided it would be better to convert it to steel, which I didn't do it, so I got no say in it. All I can do is admire the results.
Yep, it is indeed.
As you can see, this is a very, very gorgeous, what is this, redwood? Very gorgeous, very ornate and opulent, and I really, really, really want one. Or 6. Private bedroom. Well, the whole car is private, but you get the general idea. Bedroom. Closet right here. Another bedroom. Hey, it's a picture of my grandpa. I wish.
This is what he looked like when we bought it.
As you can see, the car was in absolutely immaculate shape when the Rosenberg Railroad Museum originally acquired it. In fact, it was in such great condition they wanted to highlight what it looked like before the restoration, and as you can see, they just did an absolutely terrible job redoing it. Really does look good though, seriously.
Thank you.
Here we have the galley of the car. If I have to explain what this is, I want your address so I can come to your house and slap you. Shelves, cabinets, examples of the china you can see there. I'm not going to touch it because I can't afford it.
Hot water, cold water.
To be continued. Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted by a gorgeous Southern Pacific patch. The galley. Yeah, what you see is what you get. Some lovely Tabasco sauce and relish and honeymoon pure spices. I'm gonna have to go back to the truck and get my Vienna sausages and just go to town. This right here, I am assuming.
It was just a toilet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This was at one time the head. That's where you would sit and do all of the important things that matter in life. And your water heater. And here you had, your dining room. Gorgeous stained glass, beautiful chandelier, and yeah. Currently, an amazing view of the old Galveston sub and the Glidden subs. And right there you see the Rosenberg photo platform, which they have graciously painted in the corporate colors of the Union Pacific Railroad in gratitude for their amazing donation of Tower 17. And there you have the heralds of the 3 railroads that run through: BNSF, KCS, and of course the UP. This bedroom is not roped off, as you can see. You've got your bed here, a gorgeous half queen, half twin, china, little towel loop. Then of course, again, where you do all of the important stuff in life. Everything important happens here. And way back when, as you can plainly see, there was nowhere for it to go but on the right of way.
this thing was in a thicket and they cut it out, and there was this building, and they opened it up, and it had metal cots and bars on the windows. So they figured it was a jail, but Rosenberg doesn't know anything about it.
Well, like you heard, Rosenberg Railroad Museum's best guess is this old brick building here was at one time a jail. Now that really touches this young correctional officer's heart, because it's a nice touch of what I do for a living today, the historical aspect of it. Whereas we have these big, huge prisons and jails nowadays, well, way back when, you see, all they had was just a little 2 or 3 man bed. Old railroad speeder. The old bathhouse provided by the railroads for the old steam locomotive crews, and you were so lucky you'd get about 5 minutes of hot water to wash off all the soot and grime off of your face from, well, obviously from working on those dirty old steam locomotives.
It's a nicer one.
This is the other speeder that the Rosenberg Railroad Museum owns, and as you can see here, it is in much better shape than the old one sitting out front that I originally took a picture of, and I'm going to take a picture of this one too. Haha, it's mine digitally now. What's the original owner of this, do you know, sir?
No idea.
Well, as you can see here, it's an old Fairmont. I don't really know a whole lot about speeders. They're not my niche, but they are definitely cool, and I do enjoy seeing them. I enjoy seeing anything rail related. What do you get when you mix a train and a bicycle? This. A lot of blood and a lot, well, not bloodness. Well, it could be a lot of blood, but definitely a lot of sweat and swearing and, I don't know, depending on how angry you are, anger too. These are awesome. I'd get in way too much trouble if I had one of these. Now, here is what really touches my heart. Kinda. Model trains. This is HO scale. Y'all know me, I'm a Lionel guy, and I dabble in N-scale a little bit. But trains is trains, and model trains is the best trains, because you can do whatever you want with them. And yeah, this is so cool. Remember that kid in a candy store statement that I made in the tower? Up the limit to 20,000. This is a very, very richly and thoroughly detailed model railroad. Very well done. Very well thought out. Our very, very knowledgeable and professional and courteous volunteer who's guiding us around and having to put up with me stated that it took the individual who built this railroad approximately 20 years to do so. And I'm definitely going to get a couple of shots. Yeah. There we go. Of that little SP. And try to come around here without killing myself. Oh, that's gorgeous.
His wife said that they wanted us to have it, get it out of my house, and she just didn't want it.
That's a shame.
Well, where would you keep it?
I can think of a couple of ideas.
Well, I've talked to a number of people. I don't know if you know Bill Freitag of Houston.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's converted the whole second floor of his house to his layout. And he's pushing 90 now and has had a stroke. So everybody's going, what are they going to do with it? Well, they really should. This thing has been 60 years in the building.
Now here's what really speaks to my soul. This is just perfection, kind of, sort of. If it was in motion, it'd be perfection. But these are what really drive me absolutely wild. If you know me, I don't have to tell you that. If you don't know what these are, you were deprived as a child and your parents should be incarcerated for, I don't know, neglect. O-Gauge, Lionel, whatever you want to call them, they're the best. Nothing beats them, period, no questions asked. That's the end of the discussion.
We have a chicken that automatically gives us more.
Unfortunately, it's not operational. And we have here a display case that you can see various different scales and of trains and accessories. See there, a little Z-scale tower, HO scale out to wazoo, you know, horribly overrated. Yep, you're mine now. And of course, up top, give me a second, let me rearrange the camera. Ah, much better. Up top here you see you have the Lionels, O-Gauge, all that fun stuff. The best trains. And one example of a G-scale. Here you can see some more O-Gauge, a couple of lonely HO, and an American Flyer. Look at this. I want to thank the people of the Rosenberg Railroad Museum for allowing me to film on their property. They have a gorgeous facility and they do an outstanding job of preserving not only the railroad history of Fort Bend County, but the history of railroading in general. If you haven't been here to the Rosenberg Railroad Museum, you really need to come, you really need to check it out. As I said, they do an outstanding job, their guides are very knowledgeable, and it's a fun trip. I've seen probably 6 or 7 trains in the very short time that I have been here, and all of about maybe 2 hours. So it is definitely worth the trip every single time, and you get a lot. You definitely get your money's worth for the measly little $5 you pay for admission. I thank you for watching. I hope you found this video entertaining. I wanted to let you know that I enjoyed making it for y'all. Hopefully as much as y'all enjoy watching it. Happy rail fanning. Texas Special out.